Imagine saving hundreds or thousands of dollars without thinking about it. That would be such a relief because savings shouldn't feel like a chore. It should feel like something exciting and something that we want to keep doing so we can reach our financial goals. There are so many things that you can implement right now to make savings feel exciting and maybe not even think about it at all anymore unless you want to think about it. So something that stresses people out a lot is not knowing how much you can save in a month because you don't actually understand what's coming in and how much you can allocate towards savings. Something that works for my husband and I is always allocating savings first, or paying yourself first, as people like to say, which means that you are saving money or investing it first. When you get your money in, that's what you do. And that is so important because you need to know how much you can save before you start spending. Because sometimes if we decide to spend first and save last, we're spending a lot more and saving much less because we don't have a budget or a certain amount allocated towards savings. So if you want to make savings easier, take a few minutes or an hour every single month at the start of the month. Estimate how much you're going to make. If you have a salary job, this is super easy because you know how much you're going to make every single month. If you have variable income, I'd actually recommend budgeting a bit less than you think you're going to make. And then if you make more money, you can also allocate that extra money towards savings. But if you know how much you're going to save every single month and you know how much you're going to spend, you don't have to worry about it. You've allocated how much you want to save, and then you just don't have to think about it until it's time for you to save that money when your paychecks come in. If you're someone that has difficulty with discipline when money comes in, I'd recommend automating your savings. So going back to knowing how much you want to save, automate that amount every single time you get paid for it to go into certain accounts or certain investment accounts so you don't even have to think about it. If your savings are automated, the only time you have to think about that is the time that you set it up to automate it, and then you pretty much never have to think about it again unless you want to bring down your savings or bring up your savings if you get a raise or a bonus or if your circumstances change. Another thing I wanted to mention is that everyone has a bit of a different savings personality, which means that some people are really excited and eager to save when they get a paycheck and they have no problem taking that money, investing it or saving it towards certain goals, but some people love to spend their money. So if you're someone that loves to spend your money, figure out how much you can save, automate that savings so that you never see it or you see it for a split second before it's taken out and allocated towards savings or investments. I personally have a lot of enjoyment transferring money on a payday to an investment or to a savings account, and that really excites me and I love seeing that. But for some people, they just can't do that and they need to automate it. So I'd recommend knowing what kind of savings personality you are, what kind of person you are when it comes to money, and doing what's best for you. I don't think all employers offer direct deposit allocation. So what you would do is you'd ask your employer to split your paycheck. Some people offer this, some people don't. And instead of you getting, let's say you make $2,000 every 2 weeks, you would take that $2,000, you tell your employer, I want $500 sent to this direct deposit account, and I want $1,500 sent to the regular checking account. What that does is take that $500, you don't even have to worry about saving it because it's automatically being allocated towards that savings account. Not all employers offer this, but I definitely recommend asking because it makes it really simple for you to know, hey, I got this much money in my checking account. I'm not even going to touch anything in my savings account. I don't even have to worry about it. And it's automated, so you don't even have to think about it every single week or be tempted to spend that money. Of course, a savings account is something you have access to. It's not like you're not able to use that money if you need to, but it's just something to make it a little bit simpler for you to differentiate what's for savings and what is for spending. That way it doesn't feel like a sacrifice when you don't use that money because it's not set for spending, it's set for savings. Another thing I would recommend is if you work for an employer and you're not self-employed, looking and seeing if they have any matching plans for retirement. In Canada, it's called an RRSP, and in America, I think it's a 401k maybe, but some employers offer the opportunity for you to put in money and they match a certain amount and they take that out before you even see it. So they take it out before your paycheck hits your bank account. And this can be really helpful for some people because the money is already taken out before you have access to seeing that money. So maybe if you are only investing 5% of your paycheck, but you feel like you could do 10%, bring that up, and then you won't even have to worry about savings because it's already done on the back end before you get your income. If you don't want to save a fixed amount, like I mentioned at the start of this video, something you can do is save a percentage instead. So if you have variable income, this might work a bit better for you because instead of saying I'm saving $500 every 2 weeks, you could say that you're saving 10% every 2 weeks or 20%, so that when your income comes in, you know, okay, I told myself I would save 10% and that's how much I'm going to save, instead of you trying to figure out what's best with this amount of money that you've brought in. Everyone's situation is different because everyone has different bills, expenses, and things they have to pay every single month. So the percentage I think you should save depends really on the variable and fixed expenses that you have. So you're gonna have to write that down and figure out what's best for you. I think people generally recommend 15% for retirement that you should be saving every single month, so that when you're at retirement age, you can retire and have no worry about your financial situation. If you feel extremely overwhelmed by any of the tips that I've just mentioned, I want you to understand that you can choose how much you save percentage-wise, how much you put into automated savings, and how much you allocate every single month towards your financial goals. If you're feeling overwhelmed by that, that means that most likely you're at the start of your savings goals, or you feel like there's not enough money to stretch and spread out for everything that you want to do. Starting with a small actionable goal, even automating $25, $50, $100 every single paycheck is something that you can do to make savings feel automated, make it feel like it's not stressful and just something you don't have to think about. And when you're comfortable with that amount, you can bring it up. Because if you want to grow financially, it should be a non-negotiable for you to be saving every single paycheck. And of course, I'm not talking about people that are financially struggling and have no money to save and they live paycheck to paycheck. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that do have that extra money and that are spending it out to eat or spending it on other things that they will not value in the future, and they should consider allocating some of that money towards savings. Something else that you can consider is roundup apps. There are certain apps that allow you to round up the rest of your dollar when you make a purchase towards savings. So what that means is if you spend $50.25, it would automatically, if you signed up for this, take the 75 cents and put it into savings. That is an easy way to automate your savings every single time you buy something without even having to worry about moving that money over. And yes, that's not a lot of money, but a small amount automatically being moved to your savings is great because you don't have to worry about it, and it maybe makes you grow that savings muscle and want to save even more in the future. Something that really helps with saving money is not being tempted to spend money. So a little tip I'm going to throw in here is make sure that you unsubscribe from marketing emails that tempt you to spend money, because the less money we spend on crap we don't need is more money that we put towards savings for our goals and our future selves. A lot of little knickknacks and things we buy right now are things that are going to be donated in the future and things that don't bring us a lot of long-term joy. So it's important to make sure that you spend money on things that are going to bring you joy now and in the future, and sometimes sacrificing a touch of joy right now so that you can have a wonderful future filled with all the things you want. Some people that love saving money like looking at their budget every single week, every single day to see if they're doing a good job, but some people hate doing that and they just want to set it and forget it and never think about savings. So all of the tips that I mentioned will be really helpful for people that don't like thinking about saving money and they just want to do one thing at the start of the month or automate something and then just not think about it until they need to change that. For me personally, I actually love budgeting and I love seeing investments grow and moving around money and seeing where I can save from in my budget. But I know everyone is not the same. So I'm hoping that these tips will help you reach your savings goals without thinking about it if you're the type of person that does not want to think about savings. Let me know in the comments if you're someone that loves to save and loves to look at every single number in their budget and move it around, or if you're someone that likes to automate your savings and never think about it. Each type of savings personality is completely valid and fine, and they both work great for the person that it's meant for. And I'm hoping you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I make personal finance content every single week, so if you're interested in that, please stick around. I just wanted to throw this at the end of the video because I love putting together flower bouquets and it has nothing to do with personal finance, but I wanted to show you guys. So I think it's so pretty. Okay, the lighting's a bit off, but I think it's so pretty and I wanted to show you. Isn't it pretty? I think I did a really good job and I wanted to show somebody. So I hope you like that. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.